Looks like we're good to go with the air. It's not too loud if I re-listen to this and think it is. I apologize. You are the experiment. Gotta do it, you know? Gotta do what you gotta do. It's just too hot, and I felt delusional the other day, even though it was very good. I want to make sure I'm always coming off authentic. I am going through some stuff. We'll get into how everybody is right now, in your own way, to your own level, to your own degree. But Pisces, we'll talk about that with you. Leo season reading. Leo season for you. Oh man. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended reading that is there. The extended reading is the extension. I should call it the extension reading to this one. It's the extension. We get more in depth. You see more of my skills come out. I think that I've really made this very general. When we get into the extended, it does get a lot more detailed. So I definitely recommend you trying it. You can always unsubscribe if it's not for you. Do what you gotta do. But if you do vibe, thank you so much for being here. Doing a little bit better at thanking the people who have subscribed recently. If you're new to the channel, I come from a place of unconditional love. I come from a place where that's what I'm learning to develop into. That's how I would love to read the cards. That is my intent, is amongst other things that are, in my own personal way of bringing this energy, bringing my energy here to the table, to the creative table. And I am continuing to grow and develop. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for watching. Share this if it works for you. Really appreciate it. That's always the best way for things to go around. And I haven't said to anyone, which is interesting. So starting with you, being a little bit more open with you, because you're so able to receive well in that way, regardless of what's happening. And I think for you, you're having these huge moments of realization where certain ways of being have come from, certain ways of you and how you have been receiving yourself through people, through how people treat you. There has been some kind of cutoff, some kind of ending to maybe an old way of, or however your family did something, this traditional way of doing things. This is becoming very clear to you what's kept you, how certain of those things have kept you almost held back in your own way. Sorry, just hair. In your own way. And it's becoming clear to you where it's almost like Pluto's really entered the conversation. Pluto this Pluto shift into Capricorn in the retrograde. You're not the only one it's affecting, for sure. And it's about these huge changes. So when we talk about, and I even want to connect it to the Ten of Pentacles, if we're going to hold this up for a moment, when you start to connect these dots, it's a lot. Ten of Pentacles, that's a lot. So that means tradition, that means family, that means the genetic line, what you're being, it's almost like you might be thinking about what you're being left behind, what you want to leave behind, what you want to leave with your family, how you display yourself, and how that displays your character and shows you the very Capricorn things of your status and your career and your relationship. And you look around and it's all great. There's nothing, we're not pointing out any negatives here. That's not it. As I throw 2 cards, hold on. And I think the realization comes from it's really important for you to realize that what you could give to a situation that was more helpful or healthy, or what you want or aligns with you better now, is the reason why you almost can't give it is because there are some things that emotionally, and for some of you that means physically, because especially water signs, sometimes you really do have to, it's powerful when you, regardless of the way that you do this, but it's very powerful when you put your actions and your words into position. But mind you, it's when you're ready. Obviously no one can push you. This will kind of give you intent for sure, and the impact of this transition from what I'm seeing, and this transition into with what is going on with the planets, but intuitively that it's almost like whatever you have, it's not that you don't have great ideas, you do have great ideas and you want to bring them forth. However, they can't become solid, very Capricorn, they can't become solid, very Pentacles, until you emotionally move on. That's the alchemization process, even through tarot a little bit, is we have the fire, which is that spark. We have the air, in which it has, it gives the fire life, right? And then we have water, it helps control the fire, the emotional part of it, what's coming forth, what ideas are moving through. The Pentacles, like how it's being valued and traded, right? And then it becomes, water, cups, how it's being traded, how it's being given, how it's being reciprocated. Then the Pentacles is like how that physical form then is valued and traded, and so on and so forth. So I just gotta turn off this just in case. This is becoming very interesting to you, perhaps. The reason why I had to explain it that way, and I haven't yet either, which is so interesting. And I think that's why. Because you're going through a phase right here where this just happened, where you're letting go emotionally helps you move on emotionally. Even if it's only taking one of those cups. You have all of the energy and wherewithin to turn defensiveness into productivity. And it's not because you have resentments, it's not because you have something to prove. And if it's any of those things or coming from any of those places, I would definitely take a look at that and like make sure you're not stabbing yourself in the foot, that you're not causing some of this. Again, this is the subconscious, and if you are, understand that that's just because this is different. This is the change, this is the shift, this is the fire of being in a fire sign. This is sitting within it and understanding like, oh, this is because this has protected me for so long, or this is what I thought for so long, and this felt safe and right for so long, and now that it's shifting, it's changing, I'm shifting. It's almost like it's a part of the testing. And I'm not saying that any of the feelings that you're feeling are to be not seen or heard. That's not the point. It's just that knowing that no matter how long this transition is for you, it's understanding that it's making you and having you become so much more real with who you are and what you want and how your life is moving right now. Because for a while, this is a great reading because it's showing you like the steps, but it's also showing you how, and I'm doing this on the Aquarius, this won't be coming out the same day as the full moon unless I actually decide to put it out, sorry. But I'm doing this on the day of the Aquarius full moon in Leo season, okay? So this moment under this moon, I think, is really bringing up maybe a rawness in you. It's also, okay, so Aquarius is very much data-based in a way, and they like proof for themselves. It doesn't matter if anyone else has done it or not. They like to try, they don't mind trying some things out. But how is that moved through you? You, the sign right before you, right? So you are seeing that this is coming up very quickly through the light of Leo season, and the subconscious of the Aquarius being right before you, and Capricorn is as well. So it's like right before Aquarius, then it's you. And it's about realizing that you've come to a point where you have learned a lot and you can keep going through the motions and the comfortability of going through, and some of you like will just do it, that's just life. But if you're looking to grow right now, it's because it's asking you like, this is a comfortable pattern almost. And I'm not like downplaying your evolution at all, this is for again, this is Venus retrograde, but this is also the summer. The summer gets hot. The summer is not always woo, right? But it's also giving you the space that you need. And if you can take some space this summer, and you have the ability and the means to, in any way that you can, do that for yourself, even if it's just like saying no to some things, taking some alone time, doing whatever it is that you need, because you're not going to find that through anyone else. You're not going to find, even through this conversation, you're going to have to feel it on your own. This might not even sit well with you. You might not even feel this at this time, and I'm not saying you ultimately will either. I'm just saying that there will be a moment where you reflect and realize where the ways in which you move forward with certain things, you almost know what's going to happen. And as someone who's like constantly being pulled into the mystery of the sea and the healing and the depth of it and the pace of it isn't always what we'd like it to be, right? Like sometimes you might want to move slower, and life's like, but this thing really wants to meet you, this thing that's so good for you, this person that's so good for you, this moment of tending to yourself or getting recognition from yourself, or from a specific moment in your timeline, in your life. It becomes so real for you that you need to feel it in order to take that 7 of Wands and turn it into the 8, where it's not about defending, but it's taking everything that you think is coming at you and taking accountability for what are the things that you keep coming back to, and you're either tired going through something, just know that it will come back anyway, and that could just be subconsciously, so you just kind of like let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. But this time it's like, no, like it's just time to shine. It's time to shine. It's hard sometimes, but hopefully, so I find that during the nighttime is like easier for me to do these readings. So it's almost like letting yourself go through the day and giving yourself a moment, and maybe only using nighttime or specific time of day, where you give yourself the space to feel all that you're seeing, noticing, perceiving, giving yourself a moment to say like, oh, I can actually just maneuver. I don't have to make this a huge deal. And if I want to make it a huge deal, I will, and be as dramatic as you can and like in a healthy way. Why do I say that? Well, because it's important to get out whatever it is that you need to get out. This is the season of performance as well, right? So this is alchemy. This is the ability to alchemize your situation. And the reason why I'm kind of being like tough love, but also like supportive and like telling you like this is kind of was what it's going to take. It's not that you haven't done this and you haven't done harder and that I'm being any type of way. I'm just reminding you that this time right now is, as much as it's not in your control, because we don't have control over a lot, but it's so much in your face of what is in your control. And that is kind of on display, kind of all around. And you have this pretty keen view, even though it can feel or sting a little, because let's just say you're in defense mode most of the time. That's okay, but it will only get you through so much. But you want a certain kind, if you're wishing for a certain kind of relationship, or you're starting to see certain kinds of relationship or a certain life in your mind, and you're starting to see, or you're literally seeing it through people, you're like, okay, I wouldn't mind that, I wouldn't mind that, I wouldn't mind that, or that's how I see my life. then life's going to start presenting you opportunities to go there, to get there, to grow there, wherever it is that you're going. And it can't be without this, so it is said, like, that's, we have to grow sometimes and acknowledge certain things to grow the parts of us that sometimes live in the shadow, that live in the subconscious, that aren't always valued for what they are, but they truly have a power and a strength behind them, and that. But sometimes we're in seasons where we forget that power in ourselves, or forget that there's so much you have the ability to shift, and it has nothing to do with what's around you. What's around you is just showing you perhaps what patterns you've picked up. And if you're unhappy or uneasy or uncomfortable and unhappy, can go in the same situation. But I'm really saying that to say that if you're uncomfortable at all, even if you're unhappy, even if that's in the realm of unhappiness, then I'd say keep going. It's gonna be okay, that. But even you need that support sometimes, and you need to be able to rely on people for that, and understand that you, even though that you're the sea, you're still held by air. They're still held together by the fire deep within the core of the earth. So it is said, right? Take it whichever way you like. This core that runs within you is always alchemizing, and we even have like the orcas out there right now. I know I'm spending so much time with you, but I can't stop, because I want to make sure that the point is not that you need to change. It's that if you want to change, or you want to grow, or you do see this growth now, is that you can access that at a very high rate right now. You'll see this start to play out within the next few months, and it will start to speed up by the time we get towards October. And you realize, I think more than ever, the power of healing. You start to feel, even if you're new to healing or taking a look or becoming aware, whatever it is, you feel and see that rapid healing in certain areas of your life through this experience, going through this summer, going through this experience right now. And I hope that lands okay. I'm gonna wrap that up there. We'll get into the second part, because I don't want to overload it, but I don't want to leave you, just at a few minutes, or just to get through it. So, yeah, Pisces, all information is below. See you next month.